Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am sharing a second reveal wheel card. And maybe you remember this design because this card entails two challenges. So first of all you have the Lawn Fanatics challenge, which is the interactive cards this time. And with my new dice from my reveal wheel I really wanted to try another one. And then of course, if you remember, I do some crafty challenges with my friend Julia, and this card may remind you of one of my previous or two, because actually I am casing a card. The first card that I created with this sort of design and color combination was a picture changer. And then me and my crafty friends challenged each other to case a card into a box card, so I made a box card with this design. And now we have challenged each other to make an interactive card, and if I'm not wrong, she's also making a reveal wheel card with her previous design from the other challenges as well. So I really cannot wait what she is making from her previous design. Just for the sake of our challenge as well, I will be linking to her video down below, as well as to her Instagram account. If you are not following her yet, I think you will change your mind. Her cards are gorgeous. So while I was talking and talking, I am of course ink blending some of the basic panels of this reveal wheel, so the wheel as well as the front panel. I'm recreating that night sky using my Distress inks Chipped Sapphire, Mild Lavender and Seedless Preserves. And I just keep blending until I am happy with the end result. In the beginning I showed you the products that I was going to use or planned on using. I must admit the cloud stencil that I showed I am not using. I first thought of using it with some sort of a white pigment ink on this back, but after adding this white gouache I didn't think it was necessary and it would just be overloading the whole background, so didn't want that. And next up I am splattering some liquid stardust from Lawn Fawn, of course. So now I am coloring in my images, which are again mice from Lawn Fawn, of course. It's a little addiction, and yeah, I just cannot help it. I also got the new release in the meanwhile, and I am planning on making a card using that adorable picnic stamp set, and of course the mice. I didn't buy any other stamp sets currently from the new release. I wanted to, but maybe you saw it on Instagram. I bought already a lot this month and I'm stretching the budget already, so only bought the one with the excuse me, only bought the one with the mice. So, but I don't mind. I have it on my wish list with all the other stuff. So yeah, I am going to make a card with a picnic stamp set. But here for this card I am of course using some different stamp sets. I have the Dandy Day, also the Merry Mice for Chibitronics, and Superstar, of course. and I'm coloring them with my Copic markers. So for the rest of the coloring I will be putting on some music. I'm putting the caps on the side so that you can see which colors I'm using. That's easy for reference. If you can't remember, I am also listing all the Copic colors that I used down below. And yeah, I will see you later. So I used the matching dies to die cut all the images, and now I am going to create my sentiments. So for the sentiments, I am going to heat emboss a bit. So UR star and then the exclamation point. That's the idea, and then I will also put a little sentiment in my reveal wheel. So for the heat embossing, I am using my Versamore clear embossing ink. So first I'm prepping my clouds, and then I am stamping it a few times to really get a good impression. The embossing powder that I'm using today is from Lawn Fawn called Silver. And I am using this one because silver and purple works perfectly in my opinion. So I added this one. I also couldn't use white because, of course, with the Spiffy Speckles paper that I used for the cloud, there is a lot of white still in there, so it wouldn't stand out enough. So here I'm heat setting my clouds, and I don't know why I have like the reverse tweezers so that I don't burn my fingers, but I always forget to take it when I am heat embossing. It's like too early in the process, I think. When I'm placing images and stuff, it's more logical most of the time in my head, but truly I should be taking it. It's like annoying that I'm burning my fingers each time again, and I bought the tweezers. But yeah, maybe you struggle with that as well. I'm just maybe too lazy, but it's like in my first drawer next to me, so yeah, you know where I'm going. It's an issue. So taping it down with my Scotch 3M foam tape to get some dimension going. And now I am going to completely adhere everything on this panel before continuing with my reveal wheel part. So I'm just fiddling and trying things out. These clouds are from the Meadow Backdrop Portrait. which are truly adorable because you can tuck like the images inside of it. Love it. So this is my panel, and now I am going back to my reveal wheel. So in the template of the circle, there are like two possibilities. You can use 3 or you can use 4 items that you are placing in your reveal wheel. For this card I decided in the end to use 3 because I wanted that little sentiment, and then I had like 2 more special sort of stars, the big one and then the shooting star. So I didn't really have an idea for the 4th one. So using 3 this time, and I am going to heat emboss a little sentiment from the Superstar stamp set, and here I am placing it wrong. You need of course to place like the bottom of each image that you want or sentiment towards the middle of this wheel, but I will stamp it out correctly, so don't worry. I'm taking my washi tape to adhere this stencil to my wheel. It really is handy, it's not shifting this way and it just really helps. So I'm going to stamp my little sentiment out and then use my embossing powder. Of course I will first remove the the template, but yeah, I'm doing this, and then when it's melted I will get this template back on my wheel so that I can adhere everything else on the right place as well. I'm using the same embossing powder, and maybe in the future, if I would remake this card, I would use white, but I really wanted it to match with the sentiment on the bottom of the card. And you can see it if you hold the card, but just from far away it doesn't stand out that much because of the darkness of my sky. But I still like it, but maybe white next time. Don't know. And then because the sentiment is this small, I can still add another star, so I'm doing that as well. And then I was a bit too early. not for my embossing powder, but that little star wasn't stuck yet. Don't mind. If I would remake a reveal wheel with heat embossing on the wheel, I would suggest for you all also, if you haven't done that yet, to flatten out your wheel by putting something heavy on top of it before you add it to your card. What I experienced when I wanted to turn my wheel for the first time was that because of the heat setting there is a bit of bulking, and some of the parts of the reveal wheel were a bit lower than the others, and that didn't make it easy to turn it with my fingers. But now after a few days it's already straightened out a bit more, so I don't really experience that problem anymore. But just if you want to avoid that, you can better first flatten it out a bit. So in the meanwhile, I have put my spiffy speckles from the clouds border as well on top of my card base, and now I am using some washi tape to help me keep that wheel in place so that I can adhere it in the right spot on my card base. Like this, and then I'm removing my washi tape and everything is stuck correctly. Now onto my panel. As in my previous card, I am overloading it with foam squares like crazy, so skipped it a bit for you guys. And now I can add this one as well to my card, which is truly the hardest part in my opinion, getting this panel right. So here you can see with that shooting star, it's shooting from the right bottom to the top left, and I really wanted that people, when they spin the card, would also get that idea as the image. So I was looking for some sort of an arrow that was going upwards, and I let myself be caught by the fact that dies are backwards. So I first thought that this die was perfect. I blended a bit of Victorian velvet on leftover piece of my Nina to get it all in the same color combination as my card. And then I used washi tape to keep it in place, but realized that it was going downwards as well, this arrow. So I started fiddling, trying to turn this arrow upside down and still have that gorgeous spacing from the die. It isn't perfect, but I still like it, so that's more important. Try to use the die to guide me a bit more. And then I just had to let it go. So this is my card, where I am participating with for the Lawn Fanatics challenge, as well as my crafty friend Julia's challenge, casing this card into an interactive card, in my case a reveal wheel. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you like the idea of casing a card and the end result, of course. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I am hoping to see you next time again. Bye!